नमः शिवायेति शिवं प्रपद्ये शिवप्रसीदेति शिवं प्रपद्ये शिवात् परन्नेति शिवं प्रपद्ये शिवोऽहमस्मीति शिवं प्रपद्ये. In the previous satsanga, we saw the journey of Ramana Bhagavan all the way from Madurai until the final destination, Tiruvannamalai. And not just for Ramana Maharshi, for all of us, ultimately, that is the final destination. Bhagavan says in the Arunachala Padigam, Parthanan Pudumai, Uyirvali Kanda Parvadam, Urudaram Idanai Urtidum Uyirin Setayai Udiki, Urutanathu Abhimukamaha Irthe, Adai Tanpol Achalama Cheide, Avin Uyirbali Kodum. He says, I saw something new. I have seen a wonder, something that I've never seen before. What is it? Kanta Parvadam. It is that magnetic hill. And what does this magnetic hill do? If you just think about it once, we said Smaranat Arunachala, you just think about it once, it will draw you towards itself and you cannot resist no matter how hard you try. Ramana Maharshi always used to say, you see a man or a doll made out of iron filings and there is a magnet placed there. So how it appears on the outside is that the toy made of iron filings or the doll made of iron filings is moving towards the magnet. But what we don't realize is that the iron filings do not have any power to move towards the magnet. It is the magnetic pull of the magnet that is bringing the iron filings towards itself. Like that, we are thinking we are doing sadhana, we are doing bhakti, we are doing all of this atma vichara to go towards Bhagavan. But it is only after a certain level of spiritual maturity that we understand that it was Bhagavan who drew us towards himself. Even if we tried to resist it, we couldn't have. Oridaram idanai orthidum uyirin setayai odukki. Setai is actually a very beautiful word. It means mischief. What do? We jump into the samsara sagara and we do all kinds of mischief without realizing it's harmful to us. That's the nature of mischief. It appears fun. It feels fun to do it, but more often than not, we are going to end up harming ourselves and we are going to end up harming the people around us. But what does Arunachala do? You just think about him once, he will completely subdue all your mischief. This loka vasana that you have, this karma vasana, I have to do this in the world, I have to do that in the world, I have these ambitions, I want to achieve this in the world. All of this, he will just completely subdue it. He will turn the mind inwards and he will adai tanpol achalama cheid. He will make you like himself. He will make you still and full of peace and bliss just like himself. Avin uyirbali kodum. He consumes you entirely. Bhagavan says this in Aksharamanamale. Lakshiyam vaite arulastiram vittenai bhakshitai prananod Arunachala. What Arunachala did is he fixed his target. Bhagavan says, Oh Arunachala, you fixed me as your target and Arulastiram Vittu, you launched your missile of grace. And what did you do? Bhakshitai Prananod Arunachala. You swallowed me along with my prana. You devoured me alive. What does that mean? That he gave Bhagavan that deathless state, that experience of deathlessness. This is what that Arunachala does. Avin Uyirbali Kodum. He will completely swallow this Jiva Bhava. What is the basis of all our misery? It is this identification with the body-mind complex. With no reason, with no logic, we have just assumed that we are this body, that this mind belongs to us and this body belongs to us. In fact, we have identified with it so strongly that all the problems of the body-mind, we say it is my problem. If the body is sick, we say I am sick. If the mind is tensed, we say I am tensed. All of this is arising from ignorance. It is arising from this wrong notion that there is a jiva apart from the self. Once this jiva bhava is completely destroyed, what remains is Shiva. Right now we think I'm a jiva. That is Ajnana. When you realize Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, instead of saying I am a Jiva, you realize that your real nature is that of Shiva, then you become free. And that is what Arunachala gives. He gives that freedom. And Bhagavan reached Tiruvannamalai, and as he comes there, there is this feeling of reaching the final destination. Because everyone in spiritual life, there is always this moment where we are searching constantly. We are searching. Whether we know it or not, we are searching for God, because God is Ananda, God is bliss. Without realizing that the real nature of Bhagavan is bliss, we are looking for this bliss everywhere, and we have put on so many different forms in order to look for this bliss. Manikya Vasagar says, Pullagi, Pudai, Puluvai, Maramagi, Palmirgamagi, Paravayai, Pambagi, Kallai, Manidarai, Peyai, Ganangalai, Vallasuraragi, Munivarai, Devarai, Sellanindrai, Tavara Jangamattul, Yella Pirappum Pirandi, Ilaiten. He says, I was born as a blade of grass, as a worm, as a tree, as a beast, as a bird, as a snake, as a stone, as a human being, as a ghost, as a gana, as an asura, as a muni, as a deva. And without rest, within this Thavara Jangama Prapancha, in all the 14 worlds that exist, without rest, we have been searching, 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 searching. We have been born again and again and again and again. What happened? Yella pirappum pirandi ilaiten, he says. I am done with this. I have realized that wherever I go, whatever birth I took, whatever body I take, that happiness is nowhere to be found. And this can be a very scary realization, because until this point, this is the only thing we are holding on to. The fact that this world can somehow give us happiness, that somehow by arranging our lives in a certain way, that we can get that bliss that we are looking for. But the scariest realization is when we begin to understand that this is not possible. And at that time, what is that which stops us from falling into depression? Because if this is the only thing that we realize, we are definitely going to fall into depression. But no, that is when grace operates. Bhagavan hits us with that missile of grace. Arul Astiram. So Manikya Vachakar says, Emperuman Meye un Ponnadigal Kandindru Veeduttren. Today I saw those divine feet of yours and I am free. I am happy. I have attained bliss. After going on a very, very long trip, no matter how many places we get to visit, no matter how many beautiful things we get to see, all the difficulties we face, all the pleasures we experience, after all of that, nothing beats the feeling of finally coming back home and sleeping on our own bed. Nothing can beat that. So we have come from Bhagavan. In Kannada, there's a saying, Allide nammane, ilbande summane. My real house is somewhere else. But I have come here simply. I don't know why. Out of Ajnana, I'm born here. And it's very interesting because the word mane in Kannada means house. In Tamil, the word veed means house. And this word veed is often used to mean mukti. So ultimately, what is that veed? What is that sthanam, as we say in Sanskritam? It is to realize the self. And after all of this loitering around in the world, in different worlds, when we finally come back home, when we come back to the lap of our father, Arunachala, we realize, Indra Veeduttren. Today I have realized the truth. Today I have finally attained peace. And inundated by this bliss and peace, what Bhagavan does, everything from his past life, he just renounces. Even before he enters the temple, he throws away all the belongings that he brought along with him. And as he's walking towards the temple, someone comes and asks if he would like to get a shave, that is, shave his head. For taking up sannyasa, one of the a part of the procedure is to shave your head, tonsure your head. So some random barber just comes and asks Bhagavan if he would like him to shave his head, and Bhagavan sits there and his head is fully tonsured. And he didn't even realize that after tonsuring his head, he has to take a bath. So Arunachala showered his grace in the form of rain, and dripping wet, after having taken this Mangala Snana, a rebirth, he walks into the temple. And on that day, there is no one else in the temple, as though the father wanted to meet his son in private. Bhagavan went into the temple. He hugged Arunachala, who is shining within the temple as a linga. He hugged him tightly and he said, "Father, I have come." And after that, for as long as the body lived, that body did not go away from that father's sannidhi at all. There was one situation where there was a plague or something in Tiruvannamalai, and because of that, Bhagavan went and stayed in a temple which was 1.5 kilometers away from Arunachala. And I've seen a picture that says this is the farthest away from Arunachala Bhagavan has stayed since the very first day of entering this place. He just stayed there. After you reach Arunachala, there is no going back. And that magnetic hill continues to perform this magic to this day, where once you go there, once you go and have a darshanam of Arunachala, once you have seen the sannidhi of Ramana Maharshi, the person who goes will never come back. The physical body might come, but the ahankara, the ego that went in there, if it has gone in with the right intentions, then it will not come back. It will remain ever seated in that bliss. Today is also a very auspicious day. It is the day of Annamalai Deepam. So recently someone told me about these two beautiful songs in Tamil, one composed by Muruganar Swami and one composed by Ramana Bhagavan, which speak about Annamalai and the Tiruvannamalai Deepam. And the song about Annamalai is in the same context of this infinite column of light. So Muruganar Swami writes the first song and he shows it to Bhagavan. Buddhi ahankaram pulambeida ongum matti idayamdan marayavanum malum natta ariyadu nalamkulaya annar matti olir anna malayinadu meyye. What is Annamalai? It is that center, that light which rises so powerfully that it absolutely shatters the intellect and ego. Matti idayamdan. It is that center, it is that heart. Marayavanum malum natta ariyadu. A very beautiful comparison here. The buddhi and ahankara, the intellect and ego, cannot understand the self because the Atma Tattva is beyond all of this. And Muruganar Swami compares it to this story where Brahma and Vishnu could not find the ends of this infinite column of light. So by manifesting as this column of light, what did he do? He shattered their ego. Matti olir. In between the buddhi and ahankara, in the center, he manifested as light. And that light, that Atma Prakasha, Aham, that is Annamalai. And after submitting this, on the occasion of Kartika Deepam, which this year falls today, Muruganar Swami, he prayed to Bhagavan to write one verse about the Deepam itself. He has written one verse about the Arunachala Tattva as that Parabrahma Chaitanya. If Arunachala is that Parabrahma Chaitanya, then what is the significance of the Deepam? And Bhagavan gives him a reply with a song in the exact same style of the previous song. He says, Ittanuve nanam yenum mariyai neette அப்புத்தி இதயத்தே பொருந்தி அகநோக்கான் அத்விதமா மெய்யகச் சுடர்காண்கை பூமத்தியனும் அண்ணாமலை சுடர்காண் மெய்யே. Once a person overcomes this idea that I am this body, and when the intellect resides in the self, this can happen only through very, very deep inquiry. This was the Brahmastram of Ramana Maharshi, where anybody asks him any question about Vedanta, he would say, Kekkarade yarena pare. Inquire into who is asking this question. We say, I have a question about Vedanta. Who is this I? Is it this body? But the body cannot have questions. Is it the mind? Is it something deeper than the mind? What is that which says I? What is that which shines forth within our hearts as I? Who is that I? What is the nature of that I? Bhagavan says the question, who am I, is not meant to give an answer, it is meant to dissolve the questioner. This I was always there. The mind has gone through multiple changes. The body was very small, it was an infant, then it became a young person, then it became a middle aged person, then it became an old person. The mind doesn't even take so long to change, it changes every instant. But beyond all the changes of the mind, beyond all the changes of the body, beyond all the changes of the intellect and the memory and the ego, there is one common consistent note, like a shruti in music, which keeps saying I. We say I was 10 years old, I am 25 years old, I will be 40 years old. I did not know Vedanta, now I understand Vedanta. I was not involved in satsanga, now I attend satsanga. Who is this I? This, there was a person who attended the satsanga, there is a person who does not attend the satsanga, there is a person who knows Vedanta and does not know Vedanta. There was a child and then a young adult and then an old person. All of these appear as different people at the level of mind, body, intellect, and ego, but behind all of this, there is an I. What is that I? Who is that I? When you inquire deep into that, once the intellect becomes sharp enough to look inward and realize this truth, Advitamai, there is a non dual reality. When asked whether Advaita is true or Dvaita is true, Ramana Maharshi simply replied, உனக்குள்ள என்ன ரெண்டு நான் உண்டோ, within you there is something shining as I. Is, is there two of it or is there only one of it? And once you inquire within and realize this I, and you open your eyes and look everywhere, you will see it's the same I that shines everywhere. You will see the name and form. It is not like everything gets merged into this light. All of these imaginations are good for one bhavam, but it is not that every name and form that you see gets merged into the light. Even while seeing names and forms, you will see that the same truth which shines within my heart as I, that is all that is there. What if this body dies? I will continue to exist as the earth and the sky and water and fire, because I am the I within all of them. I am the existence, I am the consciousness, the bliss within all of these. Advitama meyyagachudar kangai. It is that light that shines. Upanishad says, Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. That shining, everything shines. So this Annamalai Deepam is nothing but that Atma Deepa. So recognizing that Atma Deepa within ourselves, that is Annamalai Deepa Darshanam. We will continue in the next satsanga. Arunachala Shiva.